In a world where hustle culture collides with wellness warnings and workplace demands keep evolving, how do we stay sharp without burning out? How do we navigate the endless stream of wellness trends while actually getting results? This is the Work and Wellness Podcast, and I'm your host, Ange Davis. Drawing from my own journey of wins, stumbles, and honest revelations, I'll be bringing you raw, unfiltered conversations with experts and inspiring guests who've been there, lived it, and found a better way. Together, we'll cut through the noise and workshop what it really means to be well in today's workplace. No more choosing between success and sanity. No more sacrificing health for achievement. Whether you're struggling with burnout, searching for purpose, or simply ready to work smarter, not harder, you're in the right place. This is real talk about real solutions for real people. Let's get into it. Hello friends, welcome to the show. Today we are doing a Q&A session. I popped a question box up on Instagram and I got a bunch of really good questions. I just copied and pasted them into a Word document, so I haven't given them any thought. So you are going to be given my very raw and off-the-cuff responses to these questions. There are some personal questions, some questions for advice, some business questions, and so we're going to go through them together today. You'll get to know a little bit more about me, and I will also answer some questions that people had for themselves. So I didn't put them in too much of an order, so we might jump around a little bit, but let's just have some fun with this, shall we? Okay. Do you ever doubt yourself? Yes, all the time. I think we wouldn't be human if we didn't doubt ourselves. It is very normal because particularly when we're doing something that we've never done before, it's really hard to have proof points that you can do it. So it's very normal to doubt yourself. The way that I try to counteract self-doubt is by doing hard things. Many of you will know that I'm a big proponent of doing hard things regularly, and the more that you can do hard things and build up proof points that you're the type of person who can tackle hard things, the more you can overcome self-doubt. So a really easy example of this the other day was I was trying to figure out something. It was a coding thing in Claude. And I was getting quite frustrated. I immediately said to myself, Ange, you have run an ultra marathon. You can figure out Claude code. And so doing hard things regularly, I feel like really helps to overcome self-doubt because it shows you that you're the type of person who can figure things out. And also to tell myself that it's normal to have doubt when you haven't done something before. You don't have a proof point of doing this exact thing. So normalizing it and then reminding myself I can do hard things is something that I think really helps. What's something that you're really working on at the moment? Oh my gosh, I'm always working on a million things to improve myself. From a personal perspective, many of you know it is hiking. We are doing a Camino later this year, and so physically working on my ability to hike and keep moving through that. So that's something that I am working on there. From a professional sort of perspective, it is the ability to accept that I don't need to be working 8, 9, 10 hours every single day just because that's the way that I worked in corporate. And I am still working on that. I was just talking to my friend about this a moment ago, that when you own your own business, you get the ability to choose how and when you work to a degree. Obviously, clients dictate that as well. But I think it is still a work in progress for me, feeling like, okay, I'm going to stop now. And I follow a creator and consultant on Instagram, Paula Gordon, and she actually says that her ideal business is not to scale it, to grow it, but not to scale, i.e. she wants to continue it being her sole person business and to work 5 to 6 hours a day and to be able to go for a cycle or go and spend time with friends. So what I'm working on is getting really clear on how I want to work, the type of clients that I want to work with, and figuring out what that looks like to give myself permission to go and live and really enjoy the benefits of owning your own business, because it also comes with its challenges. So that's something that I'm working on. Have you ever regretted leaving corporate? I don't regret anything in life because I think everything leads you to the place that you are now. I don't regret leaving corporate. I absolutely believe that I am doing what I'm meant to be doing. I'm loving it. You know, I had a day on Monday where I traveled to Melbourne. I ran a workshop, absolutely adored working with those people, and came home. And it was a huge day, like a 19-hour day. But in those moments, helping people to look after their well-being, how to have really important conversations really lit me up. So I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing and what I think is my magic. I would be lying if I said, though, there aren't moments where I thought it would be easier to be back in corporate. You know, I wouldn't have to be out there doing business development for my business, or you know, when my dad passed away, I would just be able to take leave and take time off, but I had commitments and I had to go back and run workshops the week after my dad died. And so it's times like that where I sometimes think corporate would be easier. In saying that, I would be a terrible employee now. I would feel for any leader that I had, because I think I would just not thrive. It's someone telling me what to do. And whether you believe in star signs or not, I do. I'm an Aquarius. And so if you tell me what to do, I will dig my heels in. And so my poor parents. But so I would be a terrible employee. So you can never say never. You know, like if a dream role came up, of course I would consider it. But I just can't see myself ever going back into a corporate environment. I think I've found my magic in what I do, but there certainly have been moments where I have thought it would be easier to be in corporate than to run my own business over the past few years. This is a question for someone who wants to know, how do you know when to change careers, and what advice would you give to someone looking to change? Look, the advice I would give is take time to prepare. So many people feel like they get to their wits' end and they just want to resign with no plan. And for me, I had a really long tail and plan. And sometimes it wasn't even that I knew why I was doing it. It was always just so that I had options. So if I think about it, I worked in corporate for 16 years. Of the 16, at least I think 6 of those, 5 or 6, I taught Pilates alongside working 60 hours a week in corporate. I would teach on Thursday nights and half day Sunday every single week. And I did that because I wanted something outside of corporate. I really loved the Pilates method, but I also knew it would give me options in the long run. I started Grip Pilates while I was working as well. So I was running a Pilates studio and working. And I did that for 2 years before I left corporate. Now, I didn't do that with the thought that I was necessarily going to leave my job, but it was always just something extra or another option. And so I had taught Pilates for years as a way to make sure that I could easily transition to do what I wanted. So I had an income stream if I were to leave corporate. So I always think if someone's looking to change careers or start a business, have a long tail and figure it out. And if you want to change careers, is there a way that you can do it alongside your job? Liam, for example, when he was in the military, studied his Masters of Project Management while he was in the military so that he had something to fall on when he transitioned out. So I always think if you want to change, what are some things that you can run alongside while you are in your current role, and look at that role as the investor in your new career. And my friend Jules Fidel talks a lot about this. She's amazing for people who want to transition into a portfolio career, but around giving yourself a runway to make sure that transition's a success. In terms of knowing when to change, only you will know. And it requires pause and stillness and listening to your gut. I did a podcast actually on how to make big decisions, and it might also look like speaking to some trusted advisors, not to help you make your decision, but to help open up any blind spots you might have in making that decision, because only you can make it at the end of the day. So I love a big blank piece of paper. I have a big art notebook that I keep beside my desk, and just taking time once a week to sit down and write everything that's on your mind, all of your ideas, and then different ways to get there. It will take longer than you think it should, and I encourage it to, because it's a big decision and you'll need to put in work. Nothing happens overnight. And I think sometimes we see people and think, oh my gosh, they've just jumped and done this without knowing all of the work, effort, and preparation that they've put into things. So take the time, prepare, see what you can run alongside what you're currently doing, and just try some things. Give it a go. Oh, how did I know it was time to close Grip Pilates, and what's been the biggest change? So I knew it was time to close because it was becoming extremely apparent that Mind Your Grit was growing significantly. And I was having to cancel classes because I was traveling so much. I also felt like I could not grow Mind Your Grit anymore while spending at minimum 20 hours a week teaching Pilates. And so that's how I knew it was time to close, even though it was a difficult decision and on paper, like a really good business. So it was tough, but everything in life requires a trade-off, and this was the trade-off. Grip Pilates also, if I think about my future rich life, to give me the ability to travel and have that flexibility, Grip Pilates wasn't giving me that, because it's, I had to be here ready to teach those classes. And so it wasn't aligned with the future that I saw for myself. It's bittersweet closing it. I love being able to choose how I spend my mornings now. It is not me getting up and first thing holding space for people and energy. So that's been really nice for me. I feel like I've got a lot of energy back. But Grip Pilates was an amazing chapter. It was phenomenal because I've met some of my dear friends who were clients and now friends who I absolutely adore. And if I think back, I was running Grip Pilates when all the borders were closed for COVID, and Liam was stuck in the Northern Territory and I was in a relatively new town. And so Pilates gave me that connection to people so that I wasn't as lonely, and I knew every day that I would have some sort of connection and interaction. So I loved Grit, and the messages that came through when I closed about how it had impacted people's lives was phenomenal. People who came to classes also became friends, which I just love so much. I feel like one of my roles in life is to be a connector of people. I love connecting people. And so being able to do that was really, really cool. And so I loved it. But I'm so, so happy that I get to choose my mornings now, and I get to spend more time with Liam because we're actually sitting and cooking dinner together and preparing it, not me rushing in after a Pilates class, like shoveling my dinner down. So I miss the people, but I am really glad that I made the decision because I feel really good about it. What's one thing that you've changed your mind about in the last few years? Oh my gosh, I'm always changing my mind about things when more information comes to light. I think I used to be really stubborn, and I used to, when I was young, in my 20s, feel like if I had an opinion, my opinion was right. And if I was right, then you were wrong. And I've really completely changed that in my 30s. And now I'm 40. And I believe so wholeheartedly in paradox and that two things can be true. And I feel like, having worked with so many different people in my life and my time, that everyone brings a different context to the way they think about things. It depends on their upbringing and the things that they've experienced in life and their hardships. And so one of the biggest things that I really try and bring into my life now is curiosity and sharing my thoughts, but being very open to other people's thoughts and opinions, why they think the way they do, where it's come from, and being able to hold that, hey, I can see why you hold that thought. I hold a different one, but I respect what you think and why you think it, and the two can coexist. And so that's something that I've really, really been focused on over the last probably decade, is that two things can be true at once. We are all humans with our own human experience that we bring to every situation, and doing my best to remain curious and open as to why other people think the way they do. So that's the biggest thing I've really changed over time. And I think it's been for the better, because it helps you really connect with people. It builds your empathy. And I think traveling a lot helps you to do that too, because you realize there are so many different ways to live a life, and a really good life. And no way is right or wrong. It's just what's wrong for the person. So long as obviously you're not causing harm and, holding kindness in what you do. I think, so many ways of living are valid, and it just depends on what's right for the person. Ooh, what is something people always get wrong about you? I, I think the biggest misconception, it's a really weird one, but I have had it a lot, and a lot recently. People assume that I come from money or wealth. It is very bizarre. I don't know why, but that is probably the biggest misconception. So I didn't come from wealth or money at all. I grew up with quite a bit of financial instability, but with two parents who absolutely adored us and prioritized spending time with us. And I think that's something that I've appreciated more and more as I've gotten older, is the amount of quality time my parents spent with us. And my nan, she lived with us. But I did not come from money. So I took my nan to a school interview for a school that I wanted to go to, knowing we couldn't afford to send me there, because I knew that that school would give me better opportunities. And then I'm the first person in my family to go to uni. Liam and I have built everything ourselves through a lot of hard work, and we have not been given sort of any financial leg up. We've done it all ourselves. And I think that's really the biggest misconception. Liam and I were in Hawaii at the start of the year, and we went on this sort of semi-private tour just with another couple who we didn't know. And this man straight up said, "Oh, so you come from money then?" And I was shocked. I thought, that is the most strange thing to say to someone, but also I wonder where that came from. And I reflected a bit on it, and I actually think it's because my nan had a really big part in raising me, and she was really proper. Her parents were English, and every day she would get dressed, she'd put her lipstick on, she would always present really well. And I kind of think I'm a bit of an old soul like that. And because she had such a big hand in raising me, maybe that's where it comes from, because I sort of act like I'm an old person at heart. But that's the biggest misconception. I think it's really strange. And it used to really annoy me, actually, because I would get frustrated in thinking that it's an easy way for people to think that, you've got what you've got because you came from money. And I've worked my freaking butt off for it, as hard as I could. I particularly went to uni and studied so that I could get a job that would give me financial freedom in life, and the irony of me working in banking so that I could develop a level of financial acumen as well. But yeah, it used to really annoy me because I thought it took away from the hard work that I had put in. But now I just think, oh, well, you can't change the way that people perceive you, and the people who really know me and what's important to me. And what's really important to me is time and experiences and freedom. And so everything else is to get us to that point, to be able to travel, explore, experience different cultures, quality time with the people that I love, like real quality time. And yeah, just living a life that is rich to us. So that's the biggest misconception I think that I get about me. Oh, how did you find your personal style? I love everything you wear. Thank you. I love getting dressed. I was always a really creative kid, and my mum's super creative. We didn't really always have the money to buy all the clothes that I wanted, but what we would do is we would go to Spotlight and Lincraft when I was a kid, and I would choose all the fabrics that I loved, and my mum would teach me how to sew so that I could make all the clothes that I wanted. And I remember making all these like little skirts and this like crazy metallic fabric, and we would spend so much time going through all the patterns and choosing what I wanted to make, and she would spend time with me doing that. And so I think I have always loved clothes since I was little. I also think I got it from my nan as well, because she always loved to get dressed, and I would, when I was young, dress in all her like, beautiful clothes that she'd had for decades. She used to go to what was called Grace Brothers, which is Maya now, and just buy these beautiful clothes, and she'd have them for decades. And I'd like walk around in her fake fur coats when I was little. So I think I've always loved fashion. I believe clothing is a form of self-expression and a form of creativity. And so I love it. My style's definitely changed and evolved. I look back to when I was younger. I wore a lot of bright colors in my 20s. Anyone who's known me for a long time, who's listening, will know I used to wear like bright colored blazers and floral pants and all of this sort of stuff. And so my style's refined over time. I find the best way to help refine your personal style is I have 3 words. Not to be restrictive at all. Alison Bornstein is an amazing stylist who has this theory, and 3 words so that when you buy things, you know that you're buying something that's going to come in and make your wardrobe cohesive without it all looking the same. And so my 3 words are structured, elevated, casual. So how that plays out is structured is you will always see me either wearing a structured like blazer or shirt and jeans, or trousers and like a jacket or a denim bomber like I'm wearing today. So there will always be something sort of structured in what I wear, because I feel like it brings a level of really good form to my outfits. Then I say casual. So it's a lot of people say, oh, Ange, I don't see you as casual. But when I mean casual, I'll always bring in like a jean or a bit of denim or a sneaker, something that's a little bit more casual to an elevated look. So when I speak on stage, I'll often wear a suit and a pair of sneakers, or I'll wear maybe a blazer and heels or boots, but with jeans. So that's the casual element there. And elevated. So I love a great accessory, and over time I've slowly just collected these accessories that I love. A great shoe or a bag. I love a really good brooch. That's my nan coming out in me. Or a great pair of earrings or a piece of jewelry. So those are the things that I love to elevate, because I think while fashion and style sort of evolves and changes, really good accessories stay true and they elevate your outfit. So that's how it can be really helpful to curate a wardrobe. And if I look at an item when I'm buying it, and it has to have 2 of those words to me. Otherwise, I won't buy it. And it also has to be able to go with at least 3 outfits because I'm really intentional when I buy things. When I first got a job out of uni, I was a maniac. Every lunchtime, I would be shopping in Pitt Street Mall in Sydney. I'd come home with bags every day. No wonder I had none of my paycheck left. What a maniac. But I had all these things that didn't really go with each other. So I've really refined it down now to make sure that everything sort of really can mix and match with everything else that I have. So that's sort of how I found my personal style. Oh, what does a normal day actually look like for me? It's really funny. I actually don't have a normal day now. Every day is so different and I love that. Every day, though, will have some form of mindfulness, whether it's sitting in front of my red light or taking 10 minutes in the morning just to breath work or reading. Always mindfulness, always movement, and always reading every day. So those are the things that are constants in my day: mindfulness, movement, reading. And so every Sunday I look at my week ahead and I make sure that there is some of that in my day every day for the week, even if it's small. On the day that I left at 4 a.m. and got home at 11 p.m., I thought, how am I going to get movement in this day? So I got to Melbourne Airport a little bit early and I just did laps of the airport. So even though my feet were killing me. So those are the things that are always important. And then it varies. I might be running a workshop. I might be doing a leadership advisory or development one-on-one session. I might be writing workshops, doing admin, going to networking events. So it varies, which I actually really love. What am I saying no to more these days? And what am I saying yes to more? I'll start with yes. I'm saying yes to more fun. I think somewhere along the way, as we become adults, we forget that life is supposed to be fun and enjoyable, and it becomes serious. It becomes mortgages and bills and work and all of these things, which are very important parts of life. I think I am saying yes to more fun. Silly things, going out for dinners with the girls, going play putt-putt, just silly things to connect over having fun. So that's what I'm saying yes to. What am I saying no to? I am saying no to requests of people who haven't made the effort to know me or get to know me or understand me. So what do I mean by that? I have had requests quite a bit lately from people who I don't know, who maybe follow me on LinkedIn or social media for a catch up or a coffee with no real intent, who've never really interacted with me, who haven't taken the time to interact with my work. And so I always think, I'm always happy to help people, by the way. I spend a lot of time mentoring and helping people. And I think that's really important, lifting people up. But if you haven't taken the time to interact with me or my work or know me, then I'm not going to give you my time. And it might sound harsh, but taking an hour out of my day for someone where they haven't really made an effort is an hour away from me spending time with Liam. It's an hour away from me working on my business. It's an hour away from me being able to spend that time with the people who do invest, and it's a two-way thing. And so I'm saying no to a lot of that. I used to say yes to everything. And then very quickly I had all these catch-ups in my diary where I felt people were just taking. And so I'm saying no to that now because I think about everything as impact and how can I have the most impact or make sure I'm allowing the most time to spend with the people important to me. Oh, what's one thing I've become less worried about as I've gotten older? What people think. I truly do not give a shit what anyone thinks about me now. And I used to really care. And it's actually something that Liam has taught me the most. It's probably been one of the biggest influences he's had on me because ever since I met that man back when I was 23, he has been the person who has always unapologetically been himself and not given a shit what anyone thinks of him. And he's really taught me that over, the 17 years now we've been together. And I think since I've turned 40 and since my dad died, I'm just like, I do not care what anyone thinks. And I think the reason that I feel that is because I always know that I have good intent, and my strongest values are integrity and kindness, amongst many other values that I hold. But these two values are really important to me. And I know that I always operate with strong integrity and always with a basis of kindness. And that's why I don't really care what anyone thinks, because if they think anything differently, it means they don't truly know me. And so that's something that I have given away. Am I as organized in real life as I seem online? Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. That's a really good question. I think I am really good at keeping the promises that I make to myself. If I say I'm going to exercise, I exercise. If I say I'm going to do a piece of work, I do a piece of work. I don't work well though. I mentioned earlier I'm an Aquarius, and if someone tells me what to do, I don't want to do it. So I don't work well with these constraints that make me do something, if that makes sense. And so I am relatively organized. Like, I love planning a holiday, but I allow enough time for fun and randomness and wandering and bumping into things. So not everything's super planned. So I would say yes and no. I'm organized in the sense that I like to have, some guardrails around things, an idea of how I plan my week. My calendar's really organized, but I also allow time and space for things to pop up and to be able to say yes to things that I want to say yes to. What's my coffee order? An almond cap. That's my coffee order. Unless I'm in Italy, and then it's espresso doppio, so a double espresso. That is my Italian coffee order, which I will be having very soon. Favorite book I've read this year, Strong Ground by Brené Brown. I think Brené is a wonderful storyteller, and I love how she has incorporated stories into her books. I really admire her way of writing and storytelling. So that's a wonderful, wonderful book. I really love that. What's my current hyperfixation? Oh my gosh, you know what I really love? It's so basic because it's everywhere. I had them first in Melbourne years ago, but a Mont Blanc coffee, which is just like, I think it's an ice long black with that orange cream on top. And I know they're everywhere, but gosh, I love that as a treat on a weekend. It's so good. That's my current hyperfixation. These are a bit rapid fire. I'm going to do them quickly. Where is your favorite place in the world? Oh my gosh. Gosh, we've traveled to some beautiful places. It is one of my favorite things about Liam and I is we love to travel to fun places. I think Italy. I think Italy is my favorite place in the world. I love their philosophy in life. I love the food and just their general way of living. I absolutely adore it. So I'm going to say Italy. Where's next on my travel list? Italy. We are doing a Camino, hiking 400 kilometers from Tuscany to Rome. I am so excited. There is nothing like the thought of a beautiful bowl of pasta and a tiramisu at the end of a 7-hour walk day. So I am so excited about that. What's your favorite thing about not having kids? Being able to say yes to things without having to consider it. So, we can book a holiday very last minute. We can decide this afternoon, hey, do you want to go out to dinner somewhere nice, and not really have to think about it. So I love being able to be spontaneous, and I think that is much harder. I'm not saying you can't do it. I know friends who do it, but it's much harder with kids because you have to factor that in. Do I ever feel like I'm missing out by not having children? I just did the podcast on being child-free with my friend Candice. I don't know because I don't know the other side. And I think there will always be things that each side miss out on, right? We don't get to have everything in life, and there are always trade-offs. So of course, there's like those milestones that you see parents get really excited about with their kids. And of course, you're missing out on that, right? You're missing out on growing a human and instilling values in them and, being able to raise someone in the world. So I think, of course, you miss out on that. I love our life and I wouldn't change it for the world, though. One luxury I'll always spend money on: travel. Always. Anything that is an experience, I am happy to spend money on. I don't care to rough it anymore. When Liam and I were young, God, we just flew some rough flights to New York and stayed in budget accommodation because we wanted the experience. And now I have no desire to do that. And I'm unapologetic about it. I don't want to camp. I just don't want to. I want to travel in a luxurious way from the moment I leave my home until the moment I get home. And so Liam's the same, by the way. It's not just me. He is more strong even than me on not wanting to camp. I think he spent so long in the military. He's like, I used to have to do that. Why would I choose to go and do it now? So that's a luxury we will spend money on, is great travel experiences, like a cool hotel in a great location or an Airbnb. Really good experiences when we travel. How do you stay so disciplined? I believe in keeping promises to myself. So if I say I'm going to do something, I do it. Layla Hormozi is famous for saying, don't follow the mood, follow the plan. And I think that is good most of the time. I think sometimes, though, you do need to allow yourself to feel into what you're going through, as long as it's not an excuse. But I just know, after a lot of time and experimentation, the things that are always going to make me move forward in my business, the things that are going to make me stay ahead, and the things that are going to make me feel well. I think we are given this one precious life, and I want to look after my mind and my body, and I want to bloody go for it. So I always think about my purpose when I am thinking about the small, minute things that I have to do every day or get to do every day. Oh, I love this question. What's your favorite thing about Liam? Everything. I love that guy. He is truly the best decision I ever made in my life to marry that man. And I think what I love about him is, he's this big guy who's been in the special forces. He's done domestic counterterrorism, but for the people he loves, he rides so hard for them. He will do anything for the people that he loves. And he truly is he has such high EQ. It is wild. He has really strong intuition, such high EQ. Like if he says to me, I'm not sure about that person, immediately I trust him because he has just such strong judgment. But I just adore how much he will do anything for the people he loves. He's got such strong integrity, such strong care. He makes me feel very safe, and he's really bloody funny. I hope he won't listen to this because he doesn't listen to podcasts. He hates podcasts. But yeah, he's really funny, and he always just knows how to look after me and make me laugh, and he never says no to my crazy adventure ideas. He's always just like, righto, let's go and do it. And we always have the best time. So yeah, I truly feel like we've grown up in the best way together. He backs me in everything I do. He never ever would say, when I wanted to study psychology, he's like, go do it. We'll make it work. I wanted to quit banking. Go do it. Yep, I've got you. So I just think we are true partners who care so much and respect so much about each other. And yeah, he's literally the best decision I ever made. Oh, last one. If you weren't doing what you're doing now, what would you be doing? Well, I don't really know because I'm doing what I'm doing. I do think this is my magic. It's what I'm made to do. I really, really feel like I've just found my sweet spot of how I can add value to the world. But funny story. When I I did economics at uni and then switched across to do business and HR because I was like, oh, I love economics, but I don't want to be an economist. But when I was at uni, I also got into the best fashion school in Australia. I applied. It was a really competitive process and I got into the school, but we couldn't afford to pay for it. It was expensive and you couldn't put it on what was HEX at the time. So that's why I could go to uni, because I could put it on HEX, and couldn't afford the tuition fee. So even though I got in, I couldn't go. And so I went down this business path instead of the fashion path. And I actually just truly believe that's the best decision I ever made. It was kind of made for me. But who knows where it would have gone if I had have gone down that path. But I think I am truly living what my purpose is and what it is that I can add value to the world with. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Thank you, everyone, for those questions. I loved answering those. Gosh, this is like a long podcast. You'll be sick of my voice by the end of this, but I think hopefully you've gotten to know me a little bit better, a little bit more about me. That was really fun. I might do one of these every 6 months and get some questions out there. But thank you for listening. If you've got any more questions, my DMs are always open on Instagram. Have a great week. Thanks for joining me on Work and Wellness. If today's episode resonated with you, remember, someone in your network might need to hear this too. Share it with a colleague or friend who could use these insights. I'd love to keep the conversation going, so find us on Instagram at Mind Your Grit, where we share daily tips and continue these discussions. And if you found value in today's episode, please take time to rate and review the show. It makes such a huge difference and helps other people discover conversations they might really need. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. Each week, we're building a community of people who believe that success and well-being go hand in hand. You can find the notes, resources, and links from today's episode at mindyourgrit.com. This is Work and Wellness with Ange Davis. Your work matters, your wellness matters, and this is where it all comes together. See you next week.